Welcome back to the North American LCS. As promised, we've been pouring through our Twitter responses to find the best answers to delight and entertain. Now, to remind you, earlier in the show, we asked, what is your favorite moment from this NA LCS Summer split? And here are a few of our favorites. At Ivan the Red 1, my favorite moment is from the last 20 minutes of the 80-plus minute game, Kobe and Riv losing their sanity. And it just so happens that we have the whole 80-minute game on hand. Let's take a look.
I feel like it was 72 or 73. I think we already beat it.
Oh, well, we blew 75 out of the water.
Yeah, we did.
How do you end a 77-minute game, Riv?
With fireworks.
Come on, we're close. Let's do 80.
We can do 80. That's only another lap. Just take a deep breath.
Westrise popping that ulti. He's charged up on Fury. Westrise getting angry.
This is going to be a through the front door base race. They are trying to get this down.
Oh my God!
Robert going for the shots. He's got a black shield to stay alive. He still has no summoners, actually. Few more. They win the game.
Oh, you're implying that Riv and Kobe have sanity to lose in the first place.
No, but in all seriousness, mad props to them because that is a tough task. They're casting for that long. The next tweet we have is at mmoney31. X-Special being the first with 1,000 assists. Gotta show some love to the support once in a while. Here's the big moment.
It's going to come in. Ackerman's getting hit up. He gets locked in. He's going to get taken down possibly. A few more shots. X-Special just hits 1,000 assists for an NA LCS support. The first one ever at 36 minutes into this game.
Yeah, and he did it in 100 games, too. And talking to him after that game, he seemed really emotional. And huge props to him because he's been having a good season.
And made even more special by the fact that it was the final kill of the game that gave it to him. And our final tweet is at Cedric Roth44. I have to say, although I am a TSM fan, that my favorite moment from this split was where Loco Doco had to get a bulk cut. Let's check it out.
Oh, man. I love it when Riv is just shoutcasting this and get in there. Get him with a little flash ignite.
Yeah, I think Bjergsen's a little bit too timid though here. That's kind of my opinion.
Yeah, they could have gone harder on the bull cut and cut all the way around, just shave the sides.
I love the moment
too.
there where he's like squinting. It's almost like I don't know if he's trying to squeeze out a tear or what. Exactly. It's just the pain of losing that beautiful hair of his. Anyway, I feel like he's done a very good job with it since.
Yeah. He's been rocking that thing. He's styled it pretty well. Can't even notice.
You gotta own it. You gotta at least own it. Anyway, solid work, gang. Remember, if you're not already, you can follow us at LOL Esports and use the hashtag LCS to join in on the conversation. We're going to throw it over to the guys at the caster desk to take us into our next match. On the way, Complexity came into the league as the real underdogs, but you won't hear any team referring to them as an easy win now, especially the Cloud9 crew.
Complexity's proved everyone wrong this split. For anyone thinking they couldn't compete, they've showed that they can. I think they've taken the game off of almost every single team. And they all get along really well, so they just follow the calls, they play as a team, they play smart, and they've managed to win a lot of games by doing that.
We're currently 2-1 against C9. Our first 2 wins, I felt that C9 weren't playing optimally like they used to.
I think the first few times we played Complexity, we were pretty inconsistent. We were beating a lot of the top teams, and we were losing to Complexity. So it just showed that, I guess, that we need more practice. Just improve ourselves to a point where we're not going to drop a lot of games.
Overall, the Cloud9 laners are not as strong as some of the other LCS teams, and I think our lanes are some of the strongest in the LCS.
Our last game, we just got crushed by them, and I feel that it's going to be a really hard match because I think they got their momentum back.
You know, something interesting that Sneaky was saying there that made me think about is that, yeah, these teams scrim all the time, and they're good at scrimming, but scrimming against certain teams is really some of their kryptonite. Cloud9 is against Complexity, and that's always been their kryptonite. So it's our next game. Guess what? Complexity versus Cloud9. And Complexity made a big step forward in their quest for playoffs today, taking a quick 45-minute win, if you can say quick. Of course.
Yeah, I'd say that's fast for them, considering their average is 60 minutes a game. They're actually now just 1 game behind 6th place against Curse. They played really smart, and they weren't afraid to use their lead for once. You have to say, once they got that lead, they were able to keep on pushing objectives, and they created these situations where they forced Curse into responding, where both choices were lose-lose for them.
Right.
For example, Complexity, they got 5 out of 5 Dragons and 3 out of 3 Barons. So control over pretty much all neutral objectives. Very well done for them.
I'd say it's pretty good. But all year, they have been Cloud9's kryptonite, as we said, going 2-1 in their previous games. And they could do it once again and pile on to Cloud9's already rough day.
Yeah, it's funny how, Complexity coming in with a win, Cloud9 are actually coming in with a loss here.
Yeah.
They made a few big mistakes early in that game, and it kind of allowed Evil Geniuses to completely dictate the terms of the entire game thereafter. Meteos, he got caught by that Twisted Fate ult when he was trying to get his traditional deep vision down. This is something he always does on Evelynn, and they were able to punish him and catch him with it with the Twisted Fate. Very well done by Evil Geniuses, but Cloud9, it didn't stop there. They also started up that dragon, and Helios made a huge play on Meteos once again with the combo Lee Sin, killing him and then taking the dragon. From there, it was too big of a lead for EG, and they were able to snap Cloud9's 4-game winning streak. So Cloud9 cannot afford to give up any more wins if they want to get that first or second seed for the all-important bye.
That's right. Let's get right into this one and review the teams. On the blue side, it's going to be Complexity. That means it's Westrice in the top lane, Kez in the jungle, Prowly hanging out mid with Robert X. Lee at AD carry, and Bubba Dub at support.
And on the red side, it's Cloud9er. Up top is Balls, and the Meteos. And the jungle is Meteos. The mid is high, the AD carry is Sneaky, and supporting Lemon Nation.
I heard a Niner in there. That's good. Walkie-talkie. So
they are supported by the Air Force.
That's true, they are. So as we head into Champion Select, we'll see what these teams have for each other. Of course, it's kind of an easy one to say, but what are they going to be doing here on the blue side? Complexity is the one with the upper hand. We saw LMQ kind of get the picks they wanted due to that, and that's kind of all Complexity needs for an upper hand is right in the beginning, because once they get that snowball, it just starts rolling downhill immediately.
Right. Even though Complexity are the team with the longest average games in the league,
they get their leads early.
The emphasis is on the early game this time around, because Cloud9, they need to have that deep vision down. Last time, that was taken away from them, and Meteos got caught out. Maybe this time around, he won't have the confidence to go that deep into the jungle, and Kez has done such a good job of punishing every jungler. Kez has been pretty much the one controlling most of the vision for Complexity. Pretty much ever since he actually joined the team, the whole team chipping in, but he has been making a lot of strong calls, and he is the one also calling where the wards should be placed. You have a limited supply of these wards that you're using, so it's actually very important when and where you place them, timing them with the aggression that you want to take and with the objective that is the final goal.
When's the last time we saw both Kog'Maw and Tristana band out? It's going to be great. We're definitely getting down the line of AD carries here. It won't be too bad for Sneaky and Robert. They still have things they love to play, but we're not going to get those late game hyper carries out of those two this time. It's going to be all about the beginning of this one.
I'm excited to see what they go to next.
Me too.
Year.
Me too.
The changes to Lucian were pretty interesting. Corki's always a very good champion for the mid game spike to see if any of these teams really want to go early. But really, all the top laners have been left open as well. So I don't think we'll see the early top lane picks because they will probably want to save that for a counter. And since all of the powerful top lane picks are available, you probably want to focus on your jungle or your AD carry here. Let's see, Complexity waiting on it. The other thing you could attack is High's champion pool. They've already banned out a couple mids, and since it has been a problem for Cloud9, the possibility of an early Prowly pick is there.
Prowly does not mind blind picking whatsoever.
Exactly. I mean, he's just got so many weird picks in the mid lane.
It's a good way to put it.
He's fine with early picking something just because oftentimes his opponents will not have played against that anyway.
Django in the jungle.
Right, focusing on Kez. As we said before, I mean, Kez has really been the turning point for this team ever since he joined.
That's safe.
Their coordination and their focus on warding, as we heard Prowly talk about in the interview, this is what they think is the most important thing in the current meta.
Yeah.
And Kez has done a good job being a big part of that. So at least a jungler where he can get an early side stone is very important for them.
Out of the past 6 games, he definitely has 4 plays on it. Eve being the other ones that we might actually see from Meteos coming out here. Maul's giving a yawn. Not even worried about the champion select. It's all in Lemon Nation's notebook. What do these two have? They're going support and mid. So he thinks the Syndra is going to be the blind pickup for him.
Yeah, they do want to secure a strong pick for High because of the size of his champion pool. And Syndra's a safe pick. It's a lane bully. Very, very easy to punish anyone. I really am perplexed by this Eve hover because while I have seen top lane Elise recently in Korea, it's not a strong laning champion. I don't like top lane Elise at all, especially with the recent nerfs.
Hey man, that throwback to the first LCS video with Freak and I casting. Darius was playing Elise top. That would be crazy if they pull it in
That
again.
was before she got taken down.
Of course.
And even then, she wasn't one of the
it was still
premier
iffy.
top
It was still
laners,
iffy. Absolutely. The switcheroo.
I don't think so.
And the 1-2, Morgana and Orianna played this game. So we're getting some shields. Shields for someone. Who's that going to be? Over to the side of Cloud9. They haven't really shown too much of a composition other than good fight, crowd control, bit of an ability to pick somebody off. So what do they synergize us with?
That is a good question. Who is it going to be? Because it could still be a melee carry for Complexity in the top lane. Westrice is a player who does play melee carries. However, if we look at their recent games, he's been almost always tank. So that would probably point towards something like a Jinx for the bottom lane for Robert. And that would be what most of their shields would be for this time around. However, the possibility is always there, and it's very exciting to see Westrice on those melee carries because he does have a knack for working his way out of problematic situations. Yes, he does get himself into those situations, but he's also good at working his way out.
He's been in so many that he's getting out of them now.
Exactly.
It's just, it's all working out. That's how you evolve.
There's a couple of invisible champions picked up for Cloud9, though, so that's
true.
Put some problems in the works here for Complexity, because now that there's an Evelynn on the board and they've already locked in their mid laner, there's no chance of that sort of counter TF who's great at catching Eve out if she does get a little bit too deep. And,
oh no!
And it makes Cloud9 have to Complexity have to worry about
Evelynn,
man, just omnipresent jungle pressure.
Kobe, I was talking to Robert as the players were getting makeup, right? But getting ready for their first game. And he's like, hey, let me see my stats. I want to see how I do. I should never pick Twitch or Corki. Okay. Oh, man. Forced to lock in Corki coming to this one. Robert going against his own words of just a few hours ago. But they do lock in the Maokai as well here, Kobe.
Yeah,
get another lock in for that.
He has not played Corki in the LCS for a long, long time. Was that 11 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Or so. We'll see how it works out this time, though. Pretty strong mid game here from Complexity. They have some very, very strong attacks here. With Maokai being extremely popular now in Europe and I guess making its way over to Korea last night as well. Westrice goes right back to that pick into the Mundo. Oh my god, as soon as you talk about Maokai getting popular too, you're like, what would be the most fun matchup to watch? Maokai versus Mundo in the top lane.
I'm ready.
The most ridiculous tank fight ever. We're making our way back around to the days of the Mundo, Trundle, Shyvana meta. But yeah, we'll see here because there is a lot of potential for Cloud9 pick-off. They've got two invisible champions, and they also have a lot to work off in the mid lane, with Syndra being able to set up ganks so easily for either of those two when they start roaming.
All right, so as the teams load onto the Rift, let's see who you voted to take this one. It might be changing now. According to LOLesports.com, however, when we took it, 79% of you are saying that Cloud9 are going to rebound here with a win.
Also, keep on voting on Twitter. Tweet the hashtag either COLWin or C9Win to LOL Esports, and we will update it throughout the game. So Westrice back on that Maokai. Very happy to do it because of the recent trend that we've seen him going to tank over and over and over. Maokai might be the best tank, right up there with Mundo. We actually have the two best tanks in the game right now in the top lane. So we'll see how that one does play out.
The changes to Maokai are so feel good. Like sometimes there's changes and you're like, I like this, but it's just like quality of life feel good when his ult stays around you now. I like it.
So what it really did to him is he is the premier peeling tank. Yeah. He is so good at peeling, especially against melee carries. So this Evelynn here, Medios, it's going to be very hard for him to get anywhere near Robert X. Lee. Yeah. I think that it's going to be very hard for anyone on Cloud9 actually to take out Robert unless they land one of those long-range Syndra stuns through the team. It's one of the big things about Syndra. Her crowd control can go right through your front line. doesn't matter if it hits that Maokai.
Look out on the backside.
Oh, he's got Mundo.
Falls for president. We will see. Coming out into the rift. Complexity versus Cloud9. Doesn't seem like there's going to be any lane swappage going on. Maybe, as of right yet. We're going to see how they get some deep wards in. Have been kind of lackluster throughout the entire day on deep wards. Be sure to know where Meteos is going.
Yeah, if there was to be a lane swap, I'd probably expect the Sneaky and Cloud9 to try and do that so that they could get Twitch to his Blade of the Ruined King as quickly as possible and then have him roam around to make those picks. However, Cloud9 also would not want a lane swap because they have Evelyn, and Evelyn also wants to take advantage of the roaming early.
Right.
Which is
you don't want to
taken
stop
down
that.
a notch by the lane swap. So it's funny how Cloud9 have both the incentive as well as the something to dissuade them from pulling off the lane swap.
Oh.
Looks like they won't be doing it this time around. Can you kill a Spiderling? Kill a Spiderling. There you go.
Smite it. Haha.
Quick thinking.
Smoted.
Get that 5 gold. Nah, it's just smoot.
Smoot?
Smote.
Smot it. It's somewhere in there.
Just keep on tweaking it. And if enough people repeat it,
there you go.
Then it doesn't even matter if it was the right word in the first place.
Maybe maybe it's ever changing.
That's how you change language, Riv.
Yep.
You could be the one.
No. I already say enough different things. It's not followed.
All you have to do is get enough people to follow you.
Here you go.
All right, it looks like, though, yeah, we probably won't have the lane swap, but it will be topside starts for both junglers. And that ward on the red will give up the Evelyn initial start here.
Hey! Sneaky indeed.
Maybe that will be. So it is going to be lane swap then. If he shows up in the mid lane for a gank, that's 100% lane swap there for Cloud9. That's the most common thing to do with a Twitch when you want to get him to that early Blade of the Ruined King so he can start roaming around ganking is first get off an early mid gank. And even though they had Vision of Eve, so they felt content to push up, it does give a small boost to high in the mid lane. We'll take down Meteos' early roaming a little bit.
Bubba Dub not soaking up any experience on that. You can see his bar isn't even an inch full. So he gets out of that one, really just causing a little bit of harass. But see how this works for Meteos. He doesn't like to go around the jungle with a buddy. Usually hinders his jungle a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take it down a little bit there for Evelyn. Maybe it will relieve some pressure.
They do let him get most of the
mid-lane,
minions, though, always.
But Mundo does not have a bad time in the jungle either, so he can help take out those camps pretty quickly with the cleaver, and then makes his way right down here to the bottom lane to soak up experience. Now, meanwhile, Cloud9 are banking on the fact that there's a dive coming in because Elise is really strong at diving. But Meteos, he took a chance there and he went to go do the white. Now he's kind of screening for balls to see if the dive is coming. Here it comes, and they're able to back out just in time. They don't even have to use a ward to watch for this one because they expect it coming in, and Meteos is able to watch out for balls. So good job by Cloud9 avoiding the early gank. Now the question is, what do they do about the dragon? Because their support is showing in lane. So it's not even like Cloud9 are pretending that they will contest an early dragon.
Oh, hello. Straight aggression coming out
Whoa!
again. Oh, he nailed it. Westrice is still level 1, though. This could be bad news, Bears.
No ignite.
Complexity! Oh, the shield! It's only so much! He will burn, but he has enough HP after chugging a potion. So close. Great counter.
That is a huge boost for
2v3.
Cloud9.
Wow.
They took out so much health from Complexity's pool right there that they delayed this dragon. Usually you sacrifice a dragon when you go for a lane swap. Everybody knows that. For Cloud9, they were sort of taking that into account. But because Complexity went for this ill-advised gank mid, and Cloud9 were able to turn around 2 versus 3, dealing way more damage than they received, they gained so much control of this mid lane and it bought elimination time to leave top lane and get into the fog of war. Now Complexity can't take this advantage, and Cloud9 basically gets this early Twitch start, early Twitch into Blade of the Ruined King for free. They haven't given up anything. All that Cloud9 have to do is get one ward down there by the dragon, and it will be very hard for Complexity ever to go for it because it's an Evelyn jungle and they always have to be worried about her positioning. Great dodge.
Things like that keep the pressure up in every lane as well. If Complexity were able to get that, Cloud9 would have had to react. So small moves.
Complexity are going for it. They ping out already. Elimination's on the bottom side. So they can try and contest this dragon. You take a lot of damage as Complexity going for this, but Meteos is in base, so it might be perfect time for Complexity to rush this dragon. If bottom lane and Syndra don't both collapse right now and play around with Complexity, then they're gonna get this one. Ooh, they don't get in there. No vision for C9. They didn't get that ward down. And they end up giving away the early dragon anyways. It is being traded though by a full lane of farm. Sneaky has been able to freeze the top lane in his area, so this is a full lane of experience and gold that's being traded for that dragon. Cloud9 are focusing all of it onto Sneaky.
Well, they're going to have to. Everything's been about late game and the 80 carries.
Man,
You can still get that out of him.
I really thought that Cloud9 were going to come away with defending that early dragon, but they didn't get that one ward down. And Complexity do a great job. Complexity did a great job of securing that, because if you don't come away with that dragon trade for this top lane advantage, sneaking that Twitch over there, then it's going to be really detrimental to your mid game.
Nice dodge, Lemon Nation getting in front to stand behind me, and a bit of Unbreakable for safety. Still waiting to see how these teams are really going to be able to build each other up, where the first kill is going to go when we start. Because right now, his focus is still on the top lane here for Complexity. If they can take down Sneaky, it'd be a great shutdown there.
Yeah, so Sneaky, what he's done by freezing this lane is draw this level 2 Maokai out into the danger zone. If Cloud9 actually bring over another member, then this is still a very squishy Maokai. Twitch is level 6 right now.
Yeah.
Highest level on Cloud9. High just tying him now. He is extremely, extremely dangerous. Even though he hasn't gone back to purchase, the power that you have from levels. Here we go, the slow comes in.
Cloud9 playing this one perfectly. Spray and pray, actually, right attack, gets in range, he goes to the flash, gets the experience. Anything else on Kez? Not gonna happen. But first blood going over to Sneaky as Complexity.
And High looks to get another one.
That's gonna, oh no, he does get him.
So what happens when you repel is it makes you untargetable. It does not make you invulnerable.
You were already targeted.
Since Syndra's ultimate already had been cast, it's still gonna do damage to you because the target has already been acquired.
Bottom lane, a little bit of a scuffle for brush control. Elimination going back and forth with Bubba here. We're still waiting on level 6s from this lane.
And they're just playing with fire right there. It's well done by Cloud9. Sneaky not hesitating to flash in because he does have the expunge to finish him off there. And that is a huge bonus for Cloud9 that it went to Sneaky so that he can start roaming around with Meteos. Yeah, it's already gone. We know the end of that story. But also, it sets Westrise so far behind. You cannot have a tank have this bad of a start.
No.
He will not be able to perform his position. He goes in, he's a little baby jumping in, and he's as easy to kill as a sapling, basically. It doesn't help if you miss melee CS either. But it's going to be very easy for anyone on Cloud9. If he advances right into the fight, he's just going to get blown up. So he's going to have the Orianna ball on him, plus the extra shields from Morgana or something in order to keep him alive and set up that shockwave. Without that, I mean, Cloud9 can easily just disperse and focus him down.
It's been rough. They played the jungle buddy system a lot better, that's for sure, with Meteos getting more balls than went to lane when they went from top to bottom and soaked it up. Westrise was forced to stay with Kez for
Meteos
longer.
goes right back to take advantage of the baby in the top lane.
Westrise gonna get hit up here. It looks like 2v1. I don't think he's gonna have enough time. That's gonna hurt. One more. Gives him the business.
I see what you did there. All right, and the funny thing is that even though Kez is on the top side of the map, it's super dangerous for him to go try and soak up experience here. That's just going to be a tower hit. Oh, yeah!
Oh, my God! Kai says, what are you serving? I'll have two.
Woo. Oh, pain here for Complexity so far.
Man, probably thought he had the upper hand on
Remember,
that.
too, that yes, Complexity are 2-1 versus Cloud9, but the 2 games that they won were the first 2 games of the season when Cloud9 were suffering and still trying to get back from all of the shakeup that they had to do when splitting up for All-Stars, and High having his problems with his lung.
That's right.
Oh, Bubba Dub with the flash.
Bubba Dub flashes in, throwing down the stash authority. What a flash to the safe side of the Lemon Nation. He's gonna go down. Boom! There it is. Last shot. Bang, bang, boom. Get Robert X. Lee going because Sneaky, he already had some kills before that. So that's a great shutdown. Complexity needs to keep that roll going.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten the Blade of the Ruined King finished quite yet, and the Sheen power from Corki is way too much burst.
That's great.
Once again, Midos does get caught out, and they burn the flash. So the double kill down bottom is good for Complexity because they do have, more mid-game oriented setup here. However, the Dragon not back up right for them yet, so they aren't really able to get extra global gold after that. It is going to boost Corki towards that Trinity Force, though, which they really, really need, because Man is their top laner, going to need some help at the next Dragon fight. 24 seconds, Cloud9 setting up for it already.
These deep wards are seen, so at least the sweepers can be used in the right spots, but it's not going to help if they can't get to Dragon in time.
Now, Westrise is walking down because he doesn't have a teleport. What I'd like to see Cloud9 here do is not start up the Dragon and just use the vision advantage that they have to delay Complexity. If they just poke Complexity here over and over and delay them from doing Dragon, Cloud9 will get a huge win. Westrise can't get back up to that top lane. Balls will get damage onto the turret. Complexity are very vulnerable to poke damage right now.
Yeah.
The Syndra stun is extremely long range and could be devastating to even the tank if it goes through, but High gets caught out!
Whoa! That seems to be a very dangerous area on the map for High. More than once he's been down. It's going to be a big play.
Terrible for Cloud9. They cancel the teleport too, so he walks down. Great pick from Complexity there. Huge, huge props getting that pick off because that was exactly what they needed to take away all of the extra power that Cloud9 had. Cloud9 just lost not only Dragon, but also their teleport advantage. Pretty big swing right there.
This will be something new for Complexity, that's for sure. They usually get the early lead. They have a very poor record of coming back from a deficit. So to do this against Cloud9 on Super Week would be very big.
It's the advantage of running the Elise and Morgana, which we always used to talk about when Cloud9 popularized it first. Both. She has been nerfed since then. However, this is the benefits of running both those. They keep throwing out these skill shots. There's very, very little opportunity cost to throwing out that skill shot. It's only going to be down for a few seconds. Well, the cooldown right now is pretty long. He hasn't built up his cooldown reduction. But right now, he doesn't put himself in danger to do it at least. And he was rewarded right there. Huge reward. Very little risk. So Complexity get right back in this game, and they need it too. We'll see what they can do with this Corki, because Corki's the one packing most of the punch for this team.
They still have a bit of ways to go. Probably not the strongest, sitting at about 600 gold, and Athene's unfinished, quite a bit of CS behind, so it's been a rough mid lane. High's been working it well with the rest of the team there. Very good control by Meteos and the rest of the squad in the early part of the game with their swap to somehow get an advantage for themselves. But Complexity is seen right through that strategy, and now they're starting to turn the tide, as we saw within our last fight. This top lane, riveting.
Good dodge there by Westrise. Well, it's actually this top lane is a lot more exciting now because Westrise is so under-farmed that it's just so dangerous for him. It makes it more exciting. You're like, when is Balls going to kill him? Is Balls going to dive him? Maybe this turret's going to go down. And
so what you're saying is you like clubbing baby seals.
Interesting interpretation, and I would have to disagree with your interpretation right there.
All right.
I'd have to say I'm against that.
Looks like Westrise has
official stance is no.
Looks like we're going to have the turret almost going down. Whether Westrise is there for it or not, I'm not sure Cloud9 worries about it. It's going to be moving up.
Coming up.
Yep.
Can he make his way through these wards, though? Yeah, he gets pinged out. You can see, though, even though Westrise is so far down, this is the massive sustain that comes along with Maokai. And if he keeps on dodging like this, he's dead. High made his way in.
Interesting
even with the miss.
Probably was doing race at the time. I know he probably made the call to the team, but there's not much you can do once you Westrise that.
they did
That's
get the
lead.
kill, but it is a trade on turrets. So
Right.
Complexity don't lose out too much here, and they make a stronger push. This is a much better case for the second turret here for Complexity. Have a lot more power to take this one down than Cloud9 do have at Complexity's secondary turret. So Complexity are getting a strong shove on the secondary. However, mid is the focus for C9, and if they get another kill plus the turret, then Cloud9 will not have to stop their push. And Complexity will continue to just bleed more and more objectives.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
They get it though, and
can they pinch them?
back
Blue
off
team's
mid.
turret has been destroyed.
Huge swing here though. Can Cloud9 defend the response? This is 4 members mid for Complexity. Looks like they just recall and clear out Vision instead.
It's looked grim before, but with Mundo on the team, Cloud9 has definitely pulled out some late game strategies where they just swarm a fight and completely take you by storm. With the teleport up, ball's still growing in that top lane. Just the Visage right now, he's up against quite a bit of the magic damage. I'm sure they're not too worried about losing these. We'll see if Complexity, though, can push this advantage. Now they have the 100 gold lead working for themselves, and it's paying off.
So even though Cloud9 got that kill, big pickups for Complexity. We have at the point where Sneaky's got his Blade of the Ruined King. The thing is, Corki already had his Trinity Force, a couple minutes even before this. So opening up on Corki is still a dangerous proposition. If Corki's able to hit his Phosphorus Bomb, and it becomes a little bit more difficult to pull off that assassination, and Sneaky would probably need Lemonation behind him to pull it off.
Cloud9, based off of lanes, based off of CS, they should really be handling this. But right now, Complexity is finding the way.
Interesting
Flip
focus
that
here.
seesaw
4
back and
versus
forth.
4. Lemonation backs off, so that means Sneaky and Meteos need to do the same. They should be fine because they have ward coverage as well. Pink ward defense is up. Pink ward defense is down. Pink ward defense is up.
It's like they want vision or something. I don't get it.
I don't know about that one. The second one they just placed there. Not only does it overlap with where the other pink ward
true.
covers, but it's also standing out in the open. So whose was that? That's a, what did their coach call it? The bowl of poop instead of the bowl of whipped cream?
That's definitely a bowl of poop board.
That might be a bowl of poop board. We'll see though. Back in 30 seconds.
Can't believe they come up with that. 18 minutes on the clock. About to get a little more aggression from both of these teams. This is what I was talking about. Can Cloud9 create the chaos in this fight, or is Complexity crowd control everything together in a tiny little ball?
Yeah, we've seen the effect of those the skill shot CC for Complexity. If they get another pick,
yeah. That's
can
the thing you were
easily
talking about
snowball
too, is they
mid-game.
can punch through the front line with that Syndra and still get the rat-a-tat-tat as well, getting the same line of damage. Definitely things they can work off of.
Interesting maneuver. Complexity shoving up the mid to try and gain positioning on Cloud9 in defense of a secondary turret, forcing the choice of burning a dragon down or coming through a narrower corridor in which the probability of landing one of those bindings or cocoons goes through the roof, and the follow-up shockwave would be devastating. So Cloud9 does not want to funnel through one of those small corridors. Instead, they bunch up by a dragon pit. We'll see if they can disperse here. Dragon going down, and they zone out Kez!
Meteos able to get it. Sneaky gets hit by the shockwave, but he has all the time in the world to fire. Great shield coming from Prowley, and they saved Kez on the outside. He's only offering the bait right now for the rest of the fight. Cloud9 was able to focus down and take down Bubba instantly. More business going over to West Rice's Balls finds another kill on the game, and Cloud9 regains control.
That's the problem there. If you're delayed as a Maokai and you also go Rod of Ages, that thing, he just completed it. Still needs a lot longer to stack up. He's very, very weak at the moment.
That's a long charge.
Very quickly. Cloud9, not only did they not have to give up damage on their secondary turret, but they also got the dragon.
Blue team's turret has been
I don't know there.
destroyed.
After seeing the aftermath, it's easy to say, oh yeah, Complexity should have just shoved up mid instead of trying to fight around with that dragon, but hindsight.
Either or.
Kez just gets destroyed.
That shockwave was
only
almost
hit Sneaky, and Sneaky, it didn't
really
even
close.
hurt him because it brought Sneaky closer in, and their front line had such a big presence. Sneaky did not have to worry. I believe that was Ignite, and I don't think that ball actually even hit him there.
No, you're right. Yep, Ignite was just off a cooldown. Bubadub almost skirted away from the danger. And 20 minutes on the clock. Cloud9 regains a bit of control, and history repeats itself for Cloud9. It was at a dragon fight where they love to be and where they love to take control of the game.
Yeah, this time C9 coming up with the dragon and the kills afterward. And that's very big for them because they have the opportunity with these double invis characters to really keep Complexity balled up inside their own territory and just starve them out. It's the same age-old sieging tactics. They don't actually have to siege up around turrets. If you cut off supply lines, then you can just wait them out here.
Looking around at finished items. Yomu's finished up onto Sneaky.
Ooh,
has that
what a
2-item
combo.
threshold.
That is devastating. That means that the assassinations are very, very, very scary coming from Sneaky right now. Because the thing about Yomu is its flat armor penetration.
Pew pew! Gets him down!
Oh my goodness. The thing about Yomu's is not only the burst in power for the active, but the flat armor penetration makes you rip through the targets that you're specifically looking to assassinate, which are the AD carry and the AP carry, who at this stage in the game, nobody builds flat armor. So the flat armor penetration, huge.
One more. Throws it down on the ground. High getting a kill for himself as well. That's 3 members of Complexity down.
Oh, High, you're taking the third here, buddy.
Situations, very close there from High. He goes for the Valiant turret. Tanking. So he gets out safe. Everybody gets out safe on that one. High's kind of limping away, but let's see this again.
Yeah, we
probably wasn't even ready.
We saw him coming down the lane, and he just completed those combos like you're talking about. But there is Lemon right behind him to save him from the Corki, as we thought. Brawley's looking to catch up.
Here he goes.
But the speed from Ghostblade, just as useful as the offensive capabilities.
How does Complexity answer? They were definitely caught off guard there, and that doesn't help Kobe, because just previously, Cloud9 had won an even bigger fight. So they're just getting a bag of chips on the side now. Complexity really needs to pull themselves out of this rut, because they just found themselves 7,000 gold down in a matter of no time.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult. As we said, it's so easy for C9 to cut off the supply line, because as we just saw, anybody outside of their turrets and outside of their pink ward defense line is going to need to have a buddy with them. Yes, Complexity were the first ones in North America to start that jungle buddy system. Now they need to implement the nobody's able to get outside of our towers without a buddy system.
It's going to be quite difficult. A lot of Complexity has sunk some early money into the home guards to keep their base alive, which is necessary, but still hinders their late game capability, which they're already not scaling super well into, but they can get there. They have the Orianna. That's about it.
Thing is, Cloud9 at the turrets, if they actually siege all the way up to a turret, not that strong. And they have...
That's right.
They definitely have a pretty big weakness to Westrice on Maokai, you know, flash twisted advancing in with a shockwave ball ready. So Cloud9, they are probably going to have to just continue to blank the warbs, the map in wards, and control the neutral objectives until they get one of those key picks, until they can have Sneaky or Meteos plus High catching somebody off guard and taking them down.
And look at this, we even have a rush from Bubadub on the Twin Shadows as well. Very interesting builds to mitigate what Cloud9 is bringing to the table. 10-3, 24 minutes in, and Cloud9 says it's time to clear out Complexity's security system here in the jungle.
Right, Westrice Flash is available. So, Complexity fans, they still have something to hope for. If Complexity can get a surprise Maokai, you know, twist advancing in and a shockwave to pull together these squishy members of the backline, if they can get a High plus Sneaky shockwave, they can still pull that combo off. Because Maokai as well brings in a good amount of AoE when he jumps in there. So shockwave, dissonance, plus all of Maokai's AoE that he pops off when he jumps in, could be enough to blow up that backside. And that's where all the power is, because High's the one with most of the kills. And of course, the Sneaky is one of the main targets.
Yeah, Sneaky at 3,300 HP now, Warmogs and everything else built up around him, especially with that Visage health regen. assisting him greatly. 43,000 to 36 as 2 of 4 Dragons now going over to Cloud9. They're just kind of biding their time before they, like you said, get to a turret. Everything they've gotten that's given them a lead has been the fight at Dragon or sneaking up on somebody. It hasn't been at the turrets.
Yeah, and Cloud9 are playing it well. They've always been the team that's pretty much the best at not rushing when they don't have the power to rush down and siege up turrets. They are just slowly controlling all of the gold outside of the map, outside of the turrets for Complexity.
Very methodical.
And just waiting until they do get the opportunity for one of those picks. The other reason why Complexity have to do that Twisted Advance, by the way, to carry the Shockwave in, is because there's a Braum on the other team. And Braum can block a command attack from Orianna and stop the ball there. So we already saw it once today. The only way you're going to get in there is if you got Westrice, the linebacker, to take the ball into the back lines and actually deliver it himself.
It's a suicide mission, Kobe.
Probably won't be able to do it.
Absolutely suicide, but sometimes it needs to happen. High picking up blue. If they haven't, they'll at least clear this. They actually already got Dragons, so they don't have to clear it. What am I talking about? He, however, will put pressure down towards the bottom lane.
And there's an interesting point that Cloud9 do come up on as well. If they control the gold for long enough, then they can just pile some more armor onto balls and have him just stand in the front. If he continually if he gets some slows onto Westrice and he chain slows Westrice, he can keep him off of diving in for a long time. You can see Westrice trying to sneak around the side, and he almost gets picked off already just by Lemon on the front lines here. So Balls and Lemon, what their job is to do is to screen out anyone who's going to try and get to that back line. They slowly pick up.
Only to half health. That's actually pretty promising here for Complexity. If he can get back into the fight, it'll be quite nice.
It's a stun.
Wow, everybody's taking way too much poke damage just across the board there. Cloud9 doesn't even have to focus fire. The skill shots are enough, one on the other. And it looks like they're going to be able to back off now, happily with an inhibitor in their name. Looks like they have some pushing to do in the outside lanes, or it's going to be this Baron pressure.
Yeah, the thing about Baron is, they have a lot of work to do if they want to set up a Baron bait. There are a lot of wards there, and they do not have... Well, they have 2 more pink wards that they could spread around. 2 accurate sweepers used. Oh, that's a juicy pink ward to fight over here. C9 really want to take that one out.
Does Baron end the game? No, this pink ward in mid does. No, it didn't end the game. Wait a minute!
Whoa, he goes on the balls!
Do they? Nobody knows if they really want to fight or not. Telegraphing this one over. Balls, there he goes, throws on the ultimate. Meteos over the wall instantly to throw down.
Oh, good shot,
They try to get a good hit in. Probably goes down with the shockwave going off, so he gets the damage out that he needs. But it's Westrice getting focused down. Not enough of a tank. Ball's going deep here. Oh, he hits it on the flash! Calculated, but he cannot get any farther. Scat of the Week does not hit, but they're going to have now lanes to pressure. Look at this in the bottom lane. Robert Exley and Bubba Dub, very reminiscent, going into the base themselves.
Man, Meteos got out alive too with his little flank mission on the side.
He flashed in and still got out.
Yeah, he was able to get in there on the back line, take out the DPS from Complexity, zone them away, and there was no follow-up damage.
This is I think that's pretty good for them. After losing so much, they do not get Baron, but they do open up something they can...
Oh, he's toast.
Ouch. Wait, no, Bubba Dub, don't stay! Good flash. That's one of my favorite.
High 7-1-2 now. Orianna is Syndra is massive.
Wasn't afraid to first pick that one coming out. They kind of got stiffed by that pick of Elise coming out of Complexity, so they said, all right, we'll just blind pick our mid, and then he'll go 7-1-2. Very nice job. Cloud9 also calling in the lane swap to start this game off. Kind of hindered things in the early game, but Complexity was not able to fully come back. Now down 9,000 gold. Let's see this.
So this is Complexity's choice to fight over a pink ward in the mid lane, where they don't even have a turret to defend themselves. The best thing for Complexity to do is force Cloud9 to fight them at turrets, because that's what Cloud9 do not want to do. But they force a fight in this mid lane here, and you can see how they get, just destroyed. Wow.
Meteos' zone there was so good.
Yeah, I mean, Meteos playing it from the back line, like we talked about, to slow down the DPS.
Yeah.
Sort of, if Robert is not able to auto-attack throughout the fight, then you mitigate so much damage from Complexity. It was just a weird choice by Complexity to actually fight over a pink ward out in the open.
It was kind of like
then huddle up and defend.
Their taunt, it went wrong.
Yeah, they baited themselves with a pink ward, really.
Exactly. Going deep. They going real deep. 3 inside the base. They're still looking at the turret. High and Sneaky on the backside say, guys, we'll be there in a second. Just kind of hold the front line. And they do so. Balls. Business everywhere. He's making deals this entire game. 4-0-5 on Mundo. Going wherever he pleases. Going 5-0-5. He's going to get out before the turret can even take him down. He's eating turret shots for breakfast. Double kill for Balls coming in 17-3 as Cloud9 will not let Complexity take another game off of them here in the final Super Week of North American LCS. 31 minutes into the game. Robert actually gets popped up. They get some more fantasy points for themselves and their fans. Cloud9 takes down Complexity.
Pretty strong showing as well.
Pretty strong. A little bit of a falter. Thought Cloud9 was going to let Complexity come back in that mid game, but they could have actually made a few mistakes. Complexity's lanes were not as far as they needed to be along. West Rice did not have the best early game, and that really gave Cloud9 positioning to do whatever. Meteos having a pretty great game around the jungle this time. And Cloud9 comes up with another win on the split.
Well, Cloud9's play in the lane swap was just so much better than Complexity's.
Right.
West Rice was so far down in experience and gold compared to Balls. I mean, Cloud9, what they did is they had Lemon supporting Balls in the bottom lane, so on Mundo with Braum protecting him, they were able to get a decent amount of CS and a huge experience lead on West Rice. And then when West Rice got pulled up to that top lane where Sneaky was freezing it very deep in his own territory, they really underestimated the level 6 Twitch.
Right.
And that's probably what cost them the game. Just feeding over a first blood to that level 6 Twitch and destroying Maokai's chances of coming back by dying again there, where he really needed to take that opportunity to get back into the game and get some more experience.
Cloud9 attacked immediately. Until now, I forgot that Sneaky actually came into mid lane right at level 1 and pushed out Prolly to 200 HP, which causes Prolly to chug his potions right away. Not having potions immediately in mid lane. Against Syndra, you have to play amazingly safe. And Prolly's usually the guy that's putting so much pressure on the lane that's where the jungler's being called. So the lane swap, everything else that was happening in that early game hit onto Prolly really started to shut down Complexity when they thrive.
Yeah, it was all about Cloud9 deciding what this game was going to look like. You know, starting off the lane swap, going with the gank mid, and Complexity trying to adapt to it, not coming up to par.
No, it was close. A few fights that they wanted, they gave Cloud9 that dragon fight where Cloud9's like, hey, this is actually where we get back into the majority of our games if we're ever down, or just make the lead that much bigger. They slowly pushed it. You can see him talking to Charlie there, their analyst, about how the game went. And a solid Mundo from that man in the top lane right there, coming out very strong. So his consistency on the up and up, and it seems like that the lane swaps didn't actually hurt them this time. We were kind of talking about Balls having his 1v1s, being able to play at Rise or champions that can do damage. He can still go back to the tank utility mode.
He got to play a 1v1 about 10 minutes into the game, and it was against a guy who's 2 levels down. He was like, okay, I'll take it.
Why not? And then he was coming up with the cleaver kills at the end as well to pick things up. Huge play in the mid game by Sneaky, just taking out Prolly all by himself, and then a stand behind me from Lemon Nation to capitalize on that. That's how Cloud9 played when they were the champs of the splits. Every game looked like that, where opportunities just came from thin air.
It felt like it just came up, because Sneaky was like, all right, I just completed my blade and my blade. I've got my Rune King, and I've got my...
Make it happen.
Yeah, so, and then it's like, oh, look, Prolly's right in front of me. I've got both items. This is the perfect scenario.
All right, so while it's fresh in the old noodle, send your favorite moments from the day by tweeting at LOL Esports and use the hashtag LCS Big Plays. Don't forget. So let's send it over to Dash at the analyst desk to hear what the pros have to say on that match.
Thanks, Riv. Joined here by Sneaky and Lemonation of Cloud9. Now, my first question for you has got to be, you started the day off with an unfortunate loss. So how does it feel, one, to come back and get that win, that much-needed win, but two, more so is how the preparation is after a loss to come back into a win. Lemon?
Well, we only had one game between to actually look at what they did in their initial game and see how that affects their game plan going in. So we kind of just have to get over the game loss like as quickly as possible, just basically ignore it and just move from there.
So is there anything specifically that you gleaned from Complexity's first game of the day that you were able to utilize in this game?
Yeah, we saw them prioritize Maokai extremely highly. I think that was the most interesting thing, that we didn't actually know if they had that priority or not.
All right. Well, then, Sneaky, with that Maokai priority, you guys chose to pull the lane swap because you had 2 giant tanks and you picked up the Twitch. So talk to me a little bit about the decision there for the lane swap and how it ended up benefiting you guys more so than them.
Well, Twitch is actually a pretty bad 2v2er unless he's against a really weak laner because of the nerfs that he most recently got. It was like base AD, poison damage. I've tried 2v2ing so much and I just lose out in almost all trades. And I miss kills because of the nerf. So 2v1ing is like the most optimal strat for Twitch. And it came out really well for us because Maokai was... I'm not really sure exactly where he was the entire time, but he got super behind and I was literally double his level. I was 3, or he was 3, I was 6. And we were able to just force a free kill on him.
Yeah, that was a really interesting gank there, top lane. You're already level 6. You were the highest level on your team, actually, at that point, which is very odd for an AD carry. But Lemon, speaking more to the Maokai being so far behind, and at one point, Mundo had 100 CS to Maokai's 50, right? So it's literally double the CS. Yeah. Why is it that we didn't see you, and this is not a criticism, just a question, is why is it that we didn't see you guys forcing objectives and diving turrets? Instead, you opted for trades around the map?
Well, they're a full magic damage comp, and we had Mundo. So basically, we knew once we actually got our magic resist, we could have these like amazing team fights where we would like guarantee win them. So actually, in early fights, Mundo isn't that strong compared to like a mage like Maokai is. So we didn't actually want to force too hard until we actually had the MR.
Right. So okay. So you're actually taking your lead and saying we can use this to secure the late game and make sure that we're going to have a strong front line to protect our carries.
We didn't want to be too antsy.
Gotcha. Now, Sneaky, something that we noticed in this game is the fact that 2 ADCs were banned, both Trist and Kog'Maw, which are by far the most popular picks at the moment. What's going to happen when Lucian comes back? Right? Is it going to be harder to target ban those ADCs out? Is he still going to be played? What's your prediction there?
It'll definitely be a lot harder to target ban ADs because right now it's super awkward where Tristana and Kog'Maw are like super high priority, and when those are gone, there's like Ezreal, Corki, and Twitch available, but there's no Lucian. So next patch, when we see Lucian back, he'll be just super high priority as well. I think he's still really good on this newest patch.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, could you elaborate a little bit more on like his current changes and what that does to him as a carry?
Well, they nerfed his range, but they gave him a lot more mobility. But in the most recent patch, they actually took back a lot of that mobility. So before, in the patch before they buffed him, you could E in, use your hold combo, and then E out, and you'd be the freest trade ever. But now you E in, and you're going to die.
Yeah, definitely got abused a little bit for the week or so that he had that high mobility. Now, Lemon, moving forward, you guys have TSM tomorrow, who is the team that's kind of vying for that first seed bye with you guys. You now secured a half game up with that win there, but how important is that match tomorrow in guaranteeing that first round bye?
That game basically decides who's getting second place. I think it's going to be very difficult for either team if they go through a loss tomorrow to actually pull ahead. So it's basically up to that game.
And then looking even further to the actual playoffs, regardless of what seed you finish in, because you have clinched your spot there, what is the experience that you guys have as a team going to do for you in these very long best of series? We're jumping from best of ones up to best of fives. So as a team that's now been through it, multiple times as compared to say Complexity or something like that, how's that going to help you in the playoffs?
I think we'll have more experience and more ability to actually adapt faster in these kind of best of threes, best of fives. So I think it'll be quite good for us.
All right. And
yeah, I think we've learned a lot through our best of threes and best of fives. Usually it's like adaptability throughout the entire series is what needs to be learned. And I don't know if a lot of teams like, say, Complexity, who hasn't actually done many of them, would know.
Well, so you had touched on the fact that you kind of had to do that today even, right? You played a game, you had only one game to kind of let everything go and then study up and make your decisions based on the next match. Granted, a different team. So my final question to you, Sneaky, is just looking forward, what are the finishing touches to make sure that you guys can 3-0 a team or whatever going through playoffs?
I think it's just perfecting our practice coming in the next 2 weeks that we have. So if we get down our practice to the best that it can and then we come out ahead through that, then we'll be good.
All right, anything to add there, Lemon?
It's an extremely big patch that's actually coming out. So we have to adapt like very quickly to this.
Do you find that your team is one that can adapt more quickly than others? Do you think that's an advantage for you?
Historically, we have been able to adapt quite well compared to other teams, but it's different every patch, so you never know.
All right. Well, best of luck in that adaptation. Congratulations on the win, and hopefully we'll see a couple more, right, in the next coming days.
Hope so.
Now we've got to patch up the Nexus for our final LCS game of the day. CLG versus Dignitas. The North American LCS continues in 3.5.
Remember that one meet me kid who kept yelling Demacia guy?
Yeah.
Good to see.
What happened?
We were in like a LAN cafe in Vietnam, and there's this guy playing League of Legends next to us. He's like 8 years old or something. He's just playing Garen, and every time he uses Finn, he just screams Demacia.
Bubba Dub flashes in, throwing down the stash. Authority, what a blast to the safe side of the Lemon Nation. He's gonna go down.
Drake going down, and they zone out Kez!
Medio is able to get it. Sneaky gets hit by the shockwave, but he has all the time in the world to fire. Oh, God.
Is its flat armor penetration.
Pew pew.
Oh.
Gets it down.